Close your eyes and imagine you're walking down an ancient stone road. In the distance, you hear music and the voices of people gathering and singing songs. You join the crowd along the road and slowly walk up a very tall hill. At the top of the hill is a magnificent white building supported by gigantic marble pillars. People are streaming into the building as they clap their hands, singing and celebrating. Inside the temple, you gaze up at an enormous statue of Athena, the Greek god who protects your city. You place a wreath of flowers and food at her feet as an offering. Others around you are doing the same. Today is Panathenea, the festival celebrating Athena's birthday. It's the most important holiday of the year in the city of Athens. Tonight we're going to learn about Athens and Sparta, two of the earliest civilizations in Western history. Athens and Sparta were located in what is now known as Greece in Europe, on the Mediterranean Sea. Around 2,500 years ago, Greece had over 1,000 city-states. A city-state was like a very small country. Athens and Sparta were two of the most powerful. At the time, the Persian Empire controlled Greece and many of the city-states. But the Greek city-states wanted to be free of Persian rule, so they went to war and eventually beat the Persians during the Battle of Marathon. After the Greco-Persian War, Athens and Sparta grew in number of people and in wealth. Even though they lived nearby each other, the people of Athens and Sparta couldn't be more different. The people of Athens were known for their love of wisdom and subjects such as philosophy, history, science, and art. The word philosophy is a Greek word that means love of wisdom. The earliest and most famous philosophers like Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle were Greek. They spent their days studying the world around them and reflecting on their own thoughts. One of Socrates' most famous quotes was, "An unexamined life is not worth living," which means we should focus on trying to understand our own thoughts and motivations and try to make sense of the world around us. Inscribed on the Temple of Delphi were the words, "Know thyself." As we come to understand our own minds and intentions, we can improve ourselves and likewise the world around us. The philosopher Aristotle was known for studying nature and making observations about it. He was fascinated by the world around him. During its golden age, Athens formed one of the first democratic governments, which means large groups of people made decisions for their city-state rather than a single ruler. This style of government was ahead of its time and later influenced the democratic governments we enjoy today, ruled by the people instead of a king. One of their leaders was named Pericles. Pericles was a talented speaker who loved wisdom and was known for thinking rationally, which means making decisions based on truth rather than strong emotions. The people loved Pericles, and he led them to make good decisions for Athens. Most children were able to attend school, and taxes were used to make the city a better place. The Athenians built beautiful temples to their Greek gods. The Parthenon was the most famous temple, and its ruins can still be seen today on Acropolis Hill. Inside the Parthenon, they built sculptures of the goddess Athena and Zeus, the god of sky and thunder. The Athenians wrote stories about their gods, which became known as Greek mythology. Each of the gods had personalities and behaved like humans. Sometimes they were angry, sometimes they were happy, and even threw parties. In the stories, the gods fought wars and often used humans to do the fighting for them. The Athenians used their gods to explain acts of nature, like hurricanes and the crash of thunder. The stories often include morals to teach people how they should behave. Some of the other well-known gods were Poseidon, god of the sea, Hera, goddess of marriage and family, and Ares, god of war. The theater was also very popular in Athens. The people loved to gather and watch plays and listen to songs and music. Some of the great playwrights of the time were Sophocles, Euripides, Aeschylus, and Aristophanes. The Athenians loved art and wisdom, but to protect themselves and secure their freedoms, they also built a powerful navy. A navy was important because Greece was located on the Mediterranean Sea and surrounded by islands and other coastal city-states, which often attacked each other. Athens' navy was made up of triremes, huge wooden warships that carried 170 rowers manning 3 banks of oars. The ships were 100 feet long and 20 feet wide. At one point, Athens had over 400 warships and 80,000 sailors that protected their coasts. All young men joined the military when they were 18. Sparta was another very powerful city-state, but they were very different from Athens. The Spartans were ruled by 2 kings and a small group of leaders who controlled the people by force. They prized military strength above all else. They were all about being strong and dangerous, a true warrior society. At the age of 7, Spartans joined a military school called the Agoge that trained them to be tough and fierce. They went everywhere barefoot so their feet could be strong. They ate bland food and wore uncomfortable clothes to toughen them. They learned how to wrestle and fight as soldiers. They were taught self-control and to be courageous in the face of danger. All Spartans were expected to devote their lives to their city-state above all their personal wants and needs. Sparta was made up of 3 groups: the Spartans, who were full citizens and full-time soldiers, the Helots, who were slaves to the Spartans, and the Perioeci, skilled craftsmen who built things such as homes and weapons of war. Spartan soldiers were called hoplites. In battle, they wore bronze helmets, breastplates, and red cloaks. They carried large round shields and a spear or sword. They were fierce warriors and were known for their tight fighting formation called a phalanx. In a phalanx, hoplites stood close together with their shields overlapping to form a single wall of